have to think of Hakuin first and foremost, even before we think of him as an artist. We have to think of him as the most important Zen teacher of the last 500 years. It's impossible to imagine Zen today without Hakuin.
This is Hotei's Sound of One Hand. Obviously, this is the work that we took the name of the exhibition from. This work is what's known as a koan. A koan is a picture and phrase combination that is used for meditation and contemplation in Zen Buddhism practice. So the Sound of One Hand is one of Hakuin's own koan inventions. He's the one who created it. Now, in the West, we know it more formally as what is the sound of one hand clapping. If someone says what is the sound of one hand clapping, beat them with a stick, because it's wrong. Hakuin actually said, what is the sound of one hand, or it can be translated as what is the sound of a single hand.
And that question, what is the sound of one hand, Hakuin dreamed up in his early 60s. Of course, it's something that everybody knows about. It was even mentioned on the TV show Jeopardy as a question a few years ago. Everybody knew that it had something to do with Zen. And that's Hakuin's idea. So that's how closely Hakuin and Zen are identified the one with the other.
So here we have Hotei. Hotei is one of the 7 gods of good fortune. In China, he's known as the Laughing Buddha. So that's why you'll see him with his big belly and typically a smile right at the entrance to Buddhist temples. You know, when people say rub the belly for good luck, they're talking about Hotei, not Buddha.
To be a skillful user of brush and a skillful user of ink, it's part of the formation of any educated person, even any slightly educated person. And fascinatingly, Hakuin, although he had that training, became amazingly adept in the use of the brush, became a really fine painter. Not only painting in the kind of bold and brash style that you see in this fellow to my left, but also he could also paint in a very detailed and very delicate style as well.
And the 3 works that we're going to talk about are important because they are some of the only works in our exhibition that Hakuin has actually dated. The majority of these works, they don't have a date on them. So the way that we know that they are Hakuin is simply through connoisseurship. We're talking about people who've seen thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Hakuin works, so they're able to recognize his works just like this. So not only do we have a very literal work, it's a staff and it's a whisk, and that's what it is, but also the calligraphy is very formally written, and it's pretty much separated from the text, from the image itself. It's very much image and then text, and never shall the twain meet. But in this middle period work, you can see that the dragon staff is becoming much more anthropomorphized. Here, the head of the staff is actually the head of a dragon. You can see the mouth opening and the eye being shown, as well as the whisk is taking on less importance in the image. The top of the whisk, the handle, is much more detailed and heavily done, but the actual whisk itself is in much more gradations of colors of ink. And the calligraphy, again, just jams into it, but it's much more freer. We call this his Spidery style of calligraphy because of the way it just kind of runs through the entire text and images. So as you can tell, this show is not for the faint of heart. It's a very academic show, but don't be afraid because we've made it easy for you. Every day that we are open at 12:30 in the afternoon, we have a free guided docent tour that's free with admission. We also give tours on Friday nights at 6 o'clock for all you native Japanese speakers, and it's led by one of our very, very dedicated docents. So when you come to see The Sound of One Hand, don't be afraid. We're here to help.